Hello, Durud and Shalom. Guys, did you see this? Trump just bombed Nigeria yesterday and, on Christmas, actually. It was a Christmas gift to Christians in Nigeria. I want to know if you support this or not. This violates the phrase Trump always chickens out. I was wondering if Trump is actually going to do anything in Nigeria, given that he said he's going to do something. But sometimes he just doesn't do the thing that he said he's going to do. But this time he did. He did a bombing in Nigeria. Is this good? Is this bad? I actually put a poll on top of the live chat, let me see, is my poll. Yeah, so you guys are so far 100% have said yes. You guys are in support of this. Okay. I guess the isolationists will come around the 30-minute mark. That's what usually happens. I see Nail Bunny is here, Yabs is here, Sam is here, Musad is here, Jewish Samantha is here. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Well, thank you for being here. And we also got a new member. Wow, welcome. All right, let's actually see what the hell just happened. I don't know why more people are not talking about it. This is big. I guess because it was on Christmas and people were busy doing Christmassy things. That's why? Okay.
To Fox News Alert, President Trump announcing the U.S. military has carried out strikes against ISIS terrorists in the northwest Nigerian region in response to the killing and kidnapping of Christians in the region.
And this comes amid fears.
Is somebody saying, wait, what has Trump chickened out at? Well, I can't think of anything right now. But maybe nothing. But that's the term that people use. Maybe it's not deserved. Yeah, okay. Let's go back.
To Fox News Alert, President Trump announcing the U.S. military has carried out strikes against ISIS terrorists in the northwest Nigerian region in response to the killing and kidnapping of Christians in the region.
And this comes amid fears of an ISIS resurgence following deadly attacks overseas.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joining us now from the nation's capital with the latest. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, is saying his department is always ready and that ISIS found that out on Christmas. The commander-in-chief, President Trump's official word on this came via Truth Social in a post that says, tonight, at my direction as commander-in-chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight there was. This follows a handful of ISIS-linked or ISIS-inspired attacks that rattled the whole world this holiday season, including 2 Iowa National Guard members killed in Syria. That was Staff Sergeant William Nathaniel Howard and Staff Sergeant Edgar Brian Torres Tavar. And then a pair of incidents targeting Christians in Nigeria at a church on November 18th, and then the kidnapping of 315 St. Mary's students in Nigeria.
Holy shit. It must be, being a Christian in Nigeria must feel like being a Jew living everywhere else, I guess. Look at this. Holy shit. Hold on.
Pair of incidents targeting.
Look, they're just praying and just oh my
Christians
God, this is a fucking nightmare. I really don't understand how people live with this much stress and anxiety, just knowing that you're a Christian and there is not enough security to come and save you, and Islamists could just show up at any time and just take you or kill you. You're just sitting there like sitting ducks for Islamists to just come take, as whenever they will. It's just like that. Okay.
Nigeria at a church on November 18th, and then the kidnapping of 315 St. Mary's students in Nigeria, who have all now been fully accounted for. The Bondi Beach terrorists are also believed to have ISIS links. And when you look at this president, Donald Trump, for a lot of his second term, when he talks about the United States military might, he refers back to his first term when he ordered a huge campaign.
Guys, this is not an isolationist Trump. I think Trump flirted a little bit with isolationism, but then the isolationist part of MAGA ended up being cringe and not very, kind of dogmatic. And also they're the ones who are constantly attacking Trump over the Epstein files. So Trump is did a 100-degree shift, and he's now jumping into the arms of the neocons, which I which I like. I mean, I like this. I like this new, at least this. I like this new direction that Trump is taking. I hope this is going to continue. I hope not. These are not just some missiles that are not going to do anything, and you just send them there, and then it doesn't have that much of an effect, and then you just close that chapter and just act like we did something serious with Nigeria, and then moving on. Like, I hope it's not like that. I hope this is going to be a continuous campaign for saving Christians in Nigeria rather than just a symbolic attack on Christmas.
And against ISIS.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is just a symbolic attack on Christmas, or is this going to be a continuous protection of Christians in Nigeria? I've heard that the Nigerian government is actually welcoming this, so it's not like this is illegal. This is being done with collaboration with the Nigerian government. So this is completely legit stuff here.
That basically took ISIS out globally for years. And so this is not something the Trump administration wants to see bubble back up, which is why we are getting word about an overwhelming military campaign in Africa overnight. Back to you.
Yeah, Peter, it's notable when a major military move takes place on a holiday. Do you think that the symbolism of protecting Christians on Christmas factored into this timing?
Knowing President Trump, yes. And, he's got Raising Cane as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. He is the person that President Trump credits with coming up with the idea of basically the way that they quickly and decisively took out ISIS in his first term. The president always tells this story about how he was getting a briefing from some military advisors, and they said it was going to take months or years to take out ISIS. He talked to Dan Kane, who is now the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and he came up with a way to do it in weeks or months. And then that was that. And so, yes, the symbolism of doing this on Christmas should not be.
Yeah, I really do think that this should not just be Nigeria. I think we're letting Africa. A lot of countries in Africa are being taken over by Islamists. And I think the Americans leaving Africa is responsible for that. And I think that America needs to go back into Africa and be very involved there, because Africa is going to become the new hotbed for Islamic terrorists growing. It's gonna switch from, a lot of it is going to switch from the Middle East to Africa, and America's lack of presence there is going to eventually come back and haunt you one day. I think America needs to be very, very, very involved and present in many African countries. Like Mali is almost completely taken over by Al Qaeda. So there's that.
Be ignored.
Hey, Peter, is there any indication that there will be more dialogue between the White House and the Nigerian president? I mean, remember, over the past year, we've seen Nigeria's leadership sort of downplaying that there's a problem there, when we've obviously seen what's unfolding in Nigeria. And now this strike sort of coming on a surprise level. Do we anticipate further engagement, any meetings set?
We don't have any word about any kind of engagement like that, like you're asking about. And based on President Trump's statement, it would seem like President Trump isn't really eager to engage until ISIS terrorists are basically out of the equation.
Peter, you and I have had a chance to cover the White House for quite some time. I'm just curious, in your experience, have you seen anything?
Wait, what is this about Somaliland? Israel accepting Somaliland? Is that a thing? We should cover that. Like, I didn't know, like, a lot of people saying congrats. A lot of Israelis in the chat are mentioning Somaliland. Go Somaliland. Congrats to Israel for accepting Somaliland. I'm behind Israel. Will invest in Somaliland. What is this? I need to look. We need to. Okay, they recognize it. Okay, that's interesting. We should be covering that on a live stream. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, Israel getting involved. That's amazing. Wow, is this okay? That's amazing. That's interesting. Yeah, we need more sane countries involved in Africa, because if we don't, it's going to become a major source of terror against Europe, against the UK, against America, against Canada, and against Israel. I think there's a lot of interest for all of these countries to get involved in Africa and make sure that Islamism doesn't take over huge portions of Africa.
Like this? Is this atypical from your perspective? And what, if anything, might we expect to happen beyond what has already transpired?
No, this would be consistent with President Trump's MO, which is to address the threats that global terrorists pose without putting American troops in on the ground. There were obviously troops in harm's way while they were carrying out this attack last night on the ISIS terrorists, and there is no reason to think that anybody had any injuries on the U.S. side. But President Trump's MO is use American military might from as far away as possible and not put any more American boots on the ground, which is what happened last night.
Yeah, and the fact that he carried out these attacks in coordination with the Nigerian government is key. And as you said, one of his greatest achievements was crushing the Islamic State Caliphate in his first term, and he's not going to let it bubble up again. That is for sure. Peter Ducey, live for us in Washington. Peter, thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks.
Wait, let's go. So this was Fox News. I'm going to be trying to see how different people are covering it. So Fox News was welcoming it. Let's see how CNN is covering this.
About the deadly strike operation that President Trump says he ordered on Islamic State terrorists in Nigeria.
Guys, when you blew up Islamists, I'm a simple man. You blew up Islamists, I cheer. It's very simple, okay? I have one of my greatest pleasures in life is to just see Islamists, go boom boom.
Listen to this.
Oh, D is saying, I have seen really bad takes on this. Who? Let me know who has a bad take on this, or maybe we should cover them.
That, as you can see, released from the Department of Defense yesterday evening. The U.S. military reports multiple ISIS terrorists were killed in the attack, which the president first announced on social media. This comes after the president for months has warned that the United States would take military action in African nation, claiming that ISIS had been targeting Christians in the region. The president writing in part this on social media about it. I have previously warned that these terrorists, that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight, he goes on to say, the Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Now, Nigeria confirmed the two countries coordinated in this effort, in this strike. Their foreign minister joined CNN earlier this morning.
What took place yesterday?
Guys, are the isolationist people, are they like really angry about this? Are they talking about this? Is there a lot of outrage? Because even though I think they would be against this, I don't think they would be speaking about it as much as when United States does anything in support of Israel, which then also would show how biased they are. Like, are all the people who were attacking United States for for Trump bombing the Islamic Republic in the 12-day war, are we seeing the same level of outrage right now over here? Because I think when it's in support of Israel, I mean, some of it is not isolationism. Some of it is just, hatred towards Israel.
And earlier this morning.
What took place yesterday clearly underscores the fact that Nigeria is not lacking in will and a commitment to the fight against terrorism.
I mean, you do lack the military power, though. I mean, it wasn't your will; it was America's will. You just allowed them to do it.
CNN's Nada Bashir tracking this one for us. Nada, what is the very latest that you're picking up?
Well, we're still not getting.
I mean, given that we're blowing up Islamists in support of Christians, maybe don't pick a hijabi woman to come and announce this. I don't know. I'm being picky.
Saying full details just yet from U.S. officials with regards to the details surrounding this strike. What we do know is the U.S. Africa Command has said that multiple Islamic State targets and militants were killed overnight in these deadly strikes. We've heard, as you mentioned, from the U.S. president himself addressing this military action in social media, saying and describing this as a powerful and deadly strike against Islamic State terrorists. And this strike took place in the northern Sokoto region of Nigeria, just bordering Niger. Now, at this stage, again, no clear details with regards to the impact. What we do know is that this was carried out in coordination with the Nigerian government. We've heard from a Nigerian presidential spokesperson and advisor saying that both the US and Nigeria are on the same page when it comes to tackling these security concerns. And of course, what we've been hearing from the White House for several weeks now, and from the US president himself, is the ramping up of concern around the protection of Nigeria's Christian community against extremist attacks. And it's important to note and underscore that, of course, Nigeria does have a deep-rooted history of security troubles when it comes to Islamist extremist groups. But these attacks that we have seen in the past have targeted both Nigeria's Christian and Muslim communities, two of the largest religious communities in the country. So this is certainly a historic concern within the country, but we are now seeing very clearly that first-hand action by the US military in Nigeria, according to officials, in coordination with the Nigerian government.
Yeah, Nada, thank you so much. Much more detail to learn here for sure. Appreciate it.
And the president warning, of course, there could be more to come in Nigeria, writing on Truth Social to the, quote, dead terrorists, warning there will be, in his words, many more if the slaughter of Christians continues. Joining me now in the...
I don't know, how effective do you think it's going to be? Like, I think like you need a lot more. I think you need troops on the ground in Africa. I don't think missiles just killing a few terrorists is going to do much damage to these ISIS groups. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. I think that we actually need American and French troops, well, on the ground in Africa. Like, guys, we're gonna lose Africa to Islamists if we don't have American presence there.
Group chat. Sungmin Kim, CNN Political.
Oh yeah, Flying Robot Duck saying what is the BBC saying? I'm gonna actually show BBC as well. I have BBC on my list.
Political analyst and White House reporter at the Associated Press, Ashley Davis, former George W. Bush White House.
The reason why I say French is not because they have a history of being present in Africa, and they pulled out recently. And I mean, no other than America, there's no other country other than France that would be. I mean, it's America, France, China, and Russia. So I think that's the main people with military presence. Potential military presence. That's the only 4 countries that we could expect any significant military presence, right?
CNN political analyst and White House reporter at the Associated Press.
Yeah, they got kicked out, and now a lot of people in Africa are regretting it. They kicked out the French to bring in the Russians, and now the Russians are killing more civilians than the Islamists. The Russians are killing more civilians in Africa, in some places, than the Islamists, to the point where some Africans are actually going to Al-Qaeda and ISIS and asking for protection against Russians. That's how crazy the Russians were.
Joining me now in the group chat, Sungmin Kim, CNN political analyst and White House reporter at the Associated Press, Ashley Davis, former George W. Bush White House official, and Eugene Scott, contributing columnist at the Boston Globe and visiting fellow at the Johns Hopkins University Agora Institute. It's nice to see all of you this morning. Sungmin, when we look at where things stand, the fact that the president really has cast himself as this peacemaker, often talks about the wars that he says that he has ended, and yet we are seeing this approach not just in Nigeria, but in other pockets around the world. How do we square what we hear from the president and what we see on the ground?
Well, how the administration squares it is that this is all part of President Trump's strategy, his foreign policy doctrine of peace through strength, obviously. However, you have, on the one hand, you have, him touting all the conflicts that he has helped resolve abroad, but then you see a lot of offensive military action abroad. And, his aides don't see that necessarily as a contradiction. They say that part of keeping broader peace is making sure that these targets abroad know that the U.S. is willing to strike if necessary. But I also think that this is a contradiction that
this is how peace works. People are like, oh, if you're for peace, then why are you shooting people? Because you kill the people who are against peace. That's how you bring peace. You don't bring peace by not using your weapons. You bring peace by using your weapons against the enemies of peace.
Is willing to strike if necessary, but I also think that this is a contradiction that you're going to be hearing on Capitol Hill, particularly as it relates to these strikes and and the strikes that we've been seeing elsewhere, elsewhere in the country. You have you had the Pentagon saying yesterday that they did this in coordination with Nigeria's government. However, you're already starting to hear from Capitol Hill. What about coordination with us? Is this something that lawmakers should have authorized? And
what does this footage have to do anything with Nigeria? Is this, guys, is this the footage of the Venezuelan boats being shot down? Is that not the picture? Am I mistaken? Is this not the video of the Venezuelan boats being shot down?
However, you're already starting to hear from, Capitol Hill. What about coordination with us? Is this something that, lawmakers should have authorized? And I think that tension, that conflict is also what we're going to be hearing.
Why are they showing this? Are they like, oh, look how criminal Trump is while we're talking about Nigeria? Are they trying to remind us? Is like, this is really biased. Like, what the hell are they doing? Like, guys, while we're talking about Nigeria, let us show footage of how bad Trump is. I don't know.
In the next coming weeks.
Yeah, one would anticipate that, especially, we'll likely hear a little bit of it today, but certainly once lawmakers return from their recess. It's also interesting, the president has, this is not the first time he has called out what he says are targeted attacks on Christians. It's important to...
Yeah, exactly. Somebody in the chat saying a strike isn't declaring war. Yeah, exactly. This is not a declaration of war.
The president has, this is not the first time he has called out what he says are targeted attacks on Christians. It's important to note the country itself is about split between Christian and Muslim faith. And the data
50-50.
doesn't necessarily support the president's claim that Christians are being disproportionately targeted. Ashley, this has been, though religious persecution has been a really animating subject matter, if you will, for many conservatives. Does it matter to them that the data doesn't line up? Because that is a significant issue.
Well, good morning, Erica. Nice to see you, and hope everyone had a great Christmas. But I think that...
Wait, so what is this claim that the Christians aren't being disproportionately proportionally targeted? Is that, I mean, do you adjust it for population and the areas that the Islamists are in? So actually, I could look that up, by the way, because you need to adjust it, because Christians could be targeted even if they're not the main victims. They could be targeted for being Christians.
Does it matter to them that the data doesn't line up? Because that is a significant issue.
Well, good morning, Erica. Nice to see you, and hope everyone had a great Christmas. But I think that it's really important that we need to realize that there's two things. One, that we did coordinate with the government of Nigeria, and two, Nigeria is a really complicated country that we've been dealing with. I mean, I'm a national security hawk, go back to George Bush administration. There's been terrorist breeding in that region for a long time. What I just learned this morning was the fact that we coordinated, which makes it less complicated than before. But I'm very happy that the administration is actually striking in abroad than rather than them coming and striking us in our country. In regards to the Christian and Muslim controversy,
you know what, guys? I don't even care if the ones who are targeting are Christian or not. The fact is that they're targeting civilians and they're Islamists, and this problem needs to be dealt with. And if the narrative you need to go with is that Christians are being targeted so that you could justify this, then go for it. Because my issue with Islamists is not who they're targeting. My issue with Islamists is that they exist. So they should be blown out to smithereens just for the mere fact that they fucking exist. If the selling of that politically is that, oh no, they're going after Christians, well then go for that narrative. I don't give a shit. Islamists, jihadists need to die. That's what needs to happen to jihadists. If they're going after Muslims the same amount that they're going after Christians, I don't care. If they're going after anyone, the fact that they're going after anybody, the fact that they exist needs to be something that the world needs to deal with. Okay, so if in United States that's what sells, like, oh no, they're going after Christians, then sell this idea. So let's blow up some Islamists. Let me know what you think about it.
I mean, we don't know what we don't know. It's so complicated. There's a lot of national security complications that are overlaid between the two groups that the ISIS and terrorist groups are hiding behind the Muslim religion. And so I think that we need to...
What? They're not hiding behind the Muslim religion. They're using it exactly as it was intended. Oh my God. Even the lady who's supporting Trump is saying is being PC. What the fuck?
That are overlaid between the two groups that the ISIS and terrorist groups are hiding behind the Muslim religion. And so I think that we need to be very cautious that this is, including with the president, that this is a religious attack.
Wait a minute, what is she saying? Is she trying to defend Islam?
Muslim controversies. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. It's so complicated. There's a lot of national security complications that are overlaid between the two groups that the ISIS and terrorist groups are hiding behind the Muslim religion. And so I
read the fucking Quran. They're not hiding behind anything. What the fuck? Like, if you don't know things, then don't make a claim. Just say, I don't know. They're not hiding behind it. They're using it as intended. Oh my God.
I think that we need to be very cautious that this is...
So guys, look at this. Is what I did a quick fact check. So reports indicate that thousands of Christians are killed annually due to faith-related violence. Christians for their faith. So if you just tell me that, oh yeah, but Muslims are being killed, that doesn't negate the fact that Christians are being killed for being Christian. More than 5,000 in 2022. And displacement, over 3 to 5 million internal displacements, heavily affecting the Christian majority middle belt. Nigeria consistently ranks in the top 10 most dangerous country for Christians, often number 6 or 7. So Christians are being targeted for being Christian. But if you come and say, like, but what about the Muslims are dying too? Yeah, that doesn't negate the fact that Christians are being targeted for being Christian.
Including with the president, that this is a religious attack.
Yeah, caution definitely advised. I will just say, just based on our reporting, the data does not support the claims that Christians are being disproportionately targeted. To your point, there are a number of disputes internally. It's not just religious, it's communal. It has to do with ethnic tensions, farmer-herder disputes. There's a lot happening in Nigeria specifically. You know,
what is her point? Like, they're not being disproportionately targeted. So what? Like, they are being targeted. The fact that they're being, like, imagine if an Islamist in a country comes and kills up 5 Jews, and like all of a sudden the government there wants to do something to protect the Jews, and then you come like, hey, but did you know that this year there were 10 non-Jewish people died? Like, okay, yeah, but non-Jews are, yeah, but Jews are being targeted for being Jews. Those other people who are dying, that is the violence, general violence that exists for being in an area that there's so much violence. They're not being targeted for being Muslim. They're not being targeted at all for any. Let me actually see. Let me look at the claims. So core claim: Christians targeted more than others. Statistical data confirms disproportionate. Statistical data confirms disproportionate targeting. A 4-year-old study from 2019 to 2033 by the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, ORFA, recorded 16,769 Christians deaths versus 6,235 Muslim deaths. Recent 2025 reports indicate this trend has escalated. Okay, so actually, I take that back. Christians are being disproportionately targeted. Okay, so this is wrong then. The Nigerian government often labels this as farmer-herder clashes or indiscriminate banditry affecting all, However, data shows that 55% of the Christian deaths are attributed to the Fulani militias, contradicting the indiscriminate narratives. Okay, so the government in Nigeria is trying to hide the fact that Christians are being targeted more than other people, and they're just saying that this is something about, I don't know, farming versus something else. Okay, guys, so actually CNN is wrong. I found data from Religious Freedom in Africa study, for a 4-year study that shows no, Christians are actually being targeted more than other people. And it was so easy to fact check that. Wow, guys, I do more fact checks than CNN, apparently. I'm the most trusted name in news. Okay, subscribe. We're more. I do better fact checking than CNN.
When we look at Eugene, when we look at the way that this is playing out, well, we're also looking at new movement off the coast of Venezuela.
Somebody saying source. I just read you the source. The study, Orpha. Then it's a 4-year-old study. Did you not hear me? It's a study from 2019 to 2033 by the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa.
Venezuela. What does this tell you about the focus moving forward when it comes to not just where the U.S. is leaning in internationally, but what it could mean in terms of support domestically when there are these questions continually raised about Congress and even notifications?
Well, that is one of the main questions many lawmakers have.
What is the agenda of CNN, by the way, by saying like, actually, you shouldn't be doing this because Christians are being killed in thousands of numbers, less than other people. So don't go protect the Christians because they're only dying. They're only dying by this many thousands of numbers, but other people are dying by that many thousands of numbers. So they don't, I guess the Christians then don't deserve protecting from Trump. Like, are you this anti-Trump? That is okay.
On the right, there seems to not be some consistency in terms of vision. If there is a foreign policy agenda, which obviously there is, it hasn't been communicated in a way that it's clearly understood and supported with even some of the people in the president's base. I've talked to voters and they're very concerned sometimes that they don't know what the next move is going to be from this president in terms of global conflicts and international affairs and how inconsistent it seems to be with what he campaigned on. Part of that is because we know that the president's support is actually more ideologically diverse than I think a lot of people outside of his camp realize. And so there's some issues that are of concern and major priorities for one segment, such as perhaps Christian conservatives, and not others, which might be some of the individuals who want to see America pull back from some of these types of interactions. And so I think what will be really interesting moving forward when the new year begins is seeing what is laid out, what type of vision is communicated, and how the president is able to get different sects within his.
I don't think this is about protecting Christians in the same way that I don't think the war against Venezuela is about drugs, but I support them both. Okay. I think that even though Christians are being targeted more than other people, and I welcome the idea of protecting Christians, even though Venezuela is responsible for bringing drugs into the United States, and I welcome the idea of stopping this actual weapons of mass destruction, these drugs to come from into United States and killing Americans. I think that the main issue with both of them is something else. And I think Nigeria, the main issue is that Islamists are taking gaining control in major parts of Africa. And America needs to be present in Africa. So if that's the excuse you need, given that it's actually a good excuse, like the Nigeria excuse for the drugs, that's actually a good excuse. And support and protecting Christians, that's also a good excuse, even though I don't think that's mainly what this is about. It's a pretty legitimate excuse. But I think it's about something bigger, and I support both of them. Let me actually go see how BBC is covering this. Do we have BBC? Let me actually see. I have BBC over here. Because you guys, somebody in the chat said, I wonder how BBC is covering this. And I was like, you're right. I do. Me too. I do wonder how BBC is covering this as well. Let's bring them. right here.
United States forces have launched missile strikes against the Islamic State group in northwest Nigeria. The US Africa Command said they were carried out in coordination with the Nigerian authorities.
Wait, why is this not going full screen? There we go.
The US Africa Command said they were carried out in coordination with the Nigerian authorities and killed what it called multiple IS terrorists in Sokoto State. Nigeria says...
Guys, does this... Oh my God. Does this not make you horny every time you see something like this? It makes me horny. Oh, wait a minute. We got a super chat. So thank you so much. Every hole is black in the night. Okay, well, thank you for the super chat. I don't know what that means. But anyways, is this not sexy? Does this, like, if you're American, do you not see this and feel a sense of pride? Look at this American mind. Like, I'm not even American, and I like look at this and I'm like, oh my God.
Was involved in those states. Nigeria says it was involved in the planning of the operation, and the US military posted a video showing a missile being launched from a naval vessel. On social media, President Trump described the Islamic State group as terrorist scum and accused the group of targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians. While speaking to the BBC World Service, the Nigerian foreign minister defended the military action.
What I can confirm is a joint operation between Nigeria and the US that has targeted terrorists. It has nothing to do with a particular religion. It's
Islam. It's Islam. Okay, it's Islam.
As far as we're concerned, targeting terrorists that have been attacking Nigeria.
Yeah, it's no particular religion. Guys, like these, it could be Islamic terrorists. It could be Christian terrorists. I don't know. It could be Christian terrorists targeting Christians. Maybe they're Buddhist. Have you considered that? Buddhist terrorists in Nigeria killing Christians. Anything could happen. Maybe they're Hindu. I don't know. Maybe it's Hindu. Maybe they're Hindu. Hindu terrorists, okay? It's no particular religion. Don't ask, okay? They're just terrorists.
Nigerians, period.
Damn Amish, exactly. Amish. I don't know how they managed to get to Nigeria, given that they don't use technology, but probably the Amish.
That have been attacking Nigerians, period. So it has nothing to do with one religion.
I mean, to be fair to him, if he says this is Islam, he would be dead by tomorrow, so I get it.
Religion or another, and nor does it have anything to do with Christmas. It could be any other day. It is to do with attacking terrorists that have been killing Nigerians.
Well, our reporter in Lagos, Magwachi Okafor, is following developments.
The US has confirmed, even the Nigerian government has confirmed a joint attack in the northwest part of Nigeria, specifically Sokoto State. Now, over the years, for more than a decade, Nigeria has been battling.
Guys, by the way, Nigeria has so much potential if it wasn't because of these damn Islamists. Nigeria has so much potential. So much young entrepreneurial population. Nigeria could have lifted up all of Africa if it wasn't from this Islamic instability that is because of all of this Islamic chaos. Look at what some Nigerians do when they come to America and stuff like that. Like, this is it has such a young population that is hungry for work and technology and growth, and all of this fucking Islam is missing it. And it has such a big population and ready to grow that the growth of Nigeria could contribute to the rest of Africa. But no, we cannot have these nice things because of Islam.
Insurgencies, specifically from armed groups and jihadist groups. In November, the US president did say that there was potential that he was going to go in guns a-blazing and carry out strikes potentially in Nigeria. But now we have seen this happen. While the the U.S.
Wait, did he just say the motive? Wait, once again, the motive is unknown. Like, what did he say that? I wasn't
For
listening.
more than a decade, Nigeria has been battling insurgencies, specifically from armed groups and jihadist groups. In November, the U.S. president did say that there was potential that he was going to go in guns a-blazing and carry out strikes potentially in Nigeria. But now we have seen this happen. While the U.S. president did say that this was an attack on Islamists, what he called Islamic terrorists, targeting particularly Christians, the Nigerian foreign minister has sort of also said that this is more on just what he has called attack on terrorists, because according to the
Buddhist terrorists, guys, Buddhist terrorists.
Government, these attacks have not just targeted Christians, but they've also impacted Muslims also. Sokoto, where this happened,
nobody is denying that. Saying that Christians are disproportionately targeted does not deny the fact that Muslims have been targeted as well. Probably Muslims who have been targeted, a lot of them are not considered Muslims by these other Muslims, so there's also that. But yeah, I looked at the study, I looked at the data. So yeah, Christians are being targeted more. So keep telling like, oh, but also Muslims. Yeah, doesn't make Trump wrong about what he said.
Is a state seen to have more Muslim majority. In fact, the Nigerian Sultan, that's sort of the spiritual head of Muslims.
Why is everybody talking about like, oh, but Muslims are dying more? Okay, so let them just do their thing then, I guess, huh? Like you're like, oh, Trump is wrong. There are Muslims dying as well. Oh, okay, we didn't know. They're being inclusive. Okay, so carry on. Wow, so progressive. I guess we don't have an issue here. Let them just continue, I guess. What the fuck?
In the country resides there, and that's where that's sort of the background of what has happened. But many people see this, some people from conversations we're seeing see this as a welcomed partnerships, as Nigeria has really been trying to clamp down on insurgency for years now.
Yeah, just talk us through a little bit more of that background, I suppose, some of the history that's led up to this.
Well, for more than 10 years, we have seen groups, jihadist groups like Boko Haram, Islamic State, West Africa Province, popularly known as ISWAP, and other groups that have been cropping up, launching attacks on people in schools, in churches, in mosques. In fact, just a couple of days ago, there was what was said to be a suicide bomb attack in a mosque. While no group has claimed responsibility for it, this sort of situation isn't entirely uncommon in Borno.
Do these people dare, like the people who keep saying, well, Muslims are also being targeted, okay? Would they all ever dare say, but the people who are doing it are only Muslim? Would they say that, like, hey, it's not just Christians, Muslims are also dying? Okay, would you then now point out that only Muslims are doing this? Would you point that out? Like in a country that is half Muslim and half Christian, the problem only comes from the Islamic side? Like, are you going to mention that? Are you going to point that out? Probably not.
States, which is where this mosque attack happened. So for more than a decade, Nigeria has been battling this, and it's been from groups that are trying to sort of install their ideology rather in the region. But the Nigerian military has been.
By the way, I wonder why. If Islam has nothing to do with this, and it's all because of colonialism or poverty or I don't know, other things. But why are the Christians are not doing it? I mean, they're the same area. They're the same people. They have the same historical background. If the white man has oppressed one of them, I'm sure it did both. Like they went under the same experience. Why is it that always it's just a Muslim area? Might it be because it's just because Islam has anything to do with it? Could it be because of Islam? I wonder.
Pushing back, and there seems to be sort of another rise of these attacks in recent years, which is potentially why I guess the US government is now collaborating with the Nigerian government to clamp down on this.
Thanks to Makochi for that.
Yeah, Omid, I've heard. I have the video ready. Omid saying, Armin, have you heard that Bita Shafi has been released? Yeah, but they held her mother as hostage. So to keep her quiet. I have the video ready for the end of this video to show that. Yeah, but yeah, I actually showed it on my Persian channel, and I will show it here as well. But let me actually see. There's a Trump actually announced this. Is this about this? Oh, I found a good video about this. Hold on.
New video today from Northwest Nigeria.
Oh, wait, does this include Trump's announcement? Because yes, it does. So let's actually watch this. Did Trump talk about this? Oh yeah, here. Okay, good.
New video today from Northwest Nigeria showing people carrying a metal object thought to be a projectile. And off in the distance, a fire raging after U.S. strikes overnight. The Pentagon also posting this video on social media showing the Christmas night missile launches. President Trump's major escalation coming after he says, quote, "I've previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight there was." U.S. Africa Command.
So guys, like, I don't want the Trump to stop if all of a sudden ISIS decides to basically slaughter everybody except the Christians. Like, I want Trump to continue, fucking these people up. Like, these people don't deserve to live. This is ISIS we're talking about.
Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight there was. U.S. Africa Command adding the strikes killed, quote, multiple ISIS terrorists.
By the way, guys, both ISIS and Al Qaeda are having a major comeback in Africa. It's been happening for years. And because people don't usually cover Africa, people haven't been noticing it because Africa doesn't usually get on the news. But both Al Qaeda and ISIS have had a major, comeback. They're growing in all sorts of different countries in Africa. So, and this is going to eventually, my prediction is that in a decade from now, Africa is going to be on the news all the time because of it. And I think Europe will pay the biggest price for this because Africa is right. All of these groups are basically growing their army right under Europe. And I think we're going to see at some point, we might see a wave of terrorist attacks more than we have ever seen in Europe because of all of these groups basically arming themselves in Africa. So, yeah, I mean, you're ignoring this. And I think the consequences is going to be big for the whole world. At some point, mark my words, 10 years from now, the news is going to be Africa, 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 because of all of these terrorists coming out of there.
U.S. Africa Command adding the strikes killed, quote, multiple ISIS terrorists. Nigeria saying the strikes were carried out in coordination with their authorities. Violence in Nigeria has been a focus for President Trump, who has previously warned of possible military action.
I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians.
And while Nigeria's president doesn't deny violence there, he has refuted some claims, saying, quote, the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our national.
Are you fucking serious? Guys, these people jailed Mubarak, like the guy Mubarak, remember that guy for insulting Prophet Muhammad for years. For years. How could you say that? The guy just basically said something negative about Prophet Muhammad, and the guy was in jail for years. The humanist guy, the atheist humanist guy. This was a big deal back then. I remember that. Dee knows about. Dee used to research this for us. How could you, are you fucking, this is retarded. The characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our national reality. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? This is your country is one of the worst places to be as an atheist and as a Christian. Every single report shows that. You fucking liar. This is why people say, like, oh, if you want to understand Africa, talk to Africans. Look, well, here, like, look at what this motherfucker is saying. And let me see. The chat is saying they have been killing Christians for as long as time. Well, for as long as Christianity has been around, yes. But thank you so much for the super chat.
Reality. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth also posting, thanking the Nigerian government for their cooperation, adding that, quote, there's more to come.
I mean, they couldn't refuse, though, could they? Like, it's Nigeria versus the United fucking States of America. Like, how they could, like, yeah, no. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I mean, technically, it's a good thing because you're doing your job. You're doing their job that they can't do for them. Let me see. This one got a lot of views. This is the Economic Times. This is probably a more sophisticated analysis of what's happening compared to Fox News and CNN. What?
The United States carried out an airstrike against Islamic State militants in northwest Nigeria at the request of Nigeria's government. U.S. President Donald Trump and the U.S. military said on Thursday, claiming the group had been targeting Christians in the region. Tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing, primarily, innocent Christians, at levels not seen for many years, and even centuries, Trump said in a post on Truth Social. The U.S. military's Africa Command said the strike was carried out in Sokoto State at the request of the Nigerian authorities and killed multiple ISIS militants. The strike comes after Trump, starting in late October, began warning that Christianity faces an existential threat in Nigeria and threatened to militarily intervene in the West African country over what he says is its failure to stop violence targeting Christian communities. Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth followed up with a post on X, thanking the Nigerian government for its support and cooperation, and vowing more to come. A post by U.S. Africa Command on X confirmed the strikes and said they were carried out in Sokoto State in coordination with Nigerian authorities.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition.
Recent external claims suggesting systemic religious persecution in Nigeria are unfounded.
Bull fucking shit. I just read the report for you guys. Remember, guys? I just read the report for you guys. And it's actually an African study showing that Christians are being targeted more than anyone else in Nigeria. You fucking bull. Like, who are you bullshitting? Like, you know this information is available. And you know you also have it in your own legal system that you cannot insult Islam or Prophet Muhammad or speak anything negative about Islam in Nigeria, a country that is 50% Christian. You cannot say anything negative. It's in their laws. I know this. We covered this.
The recent designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern based on speculations of religious persecution is fundamentally misinformed.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You're one of the worst countries in the world for this. I actually read that. So here again, Nigeria consistently ranks in the top 10 most dangerous countries for Christians. Not only you're wrong, you couldn't even be any more wrong. Like you're one of the best at religious prosecution. Okay, you're in the top 10 in the world. Like, oh yeah, no, we're not that bad. Apparently, you're the worst. Fucking hell.
Concern based on speculations of religious persecution is fundamentally misinformed.
Oh wait, guys, look at this. This is not his. This is AI translated audio. Ooh, guys, he was not speaking English. This is AI translate. Probably did they move his lips with AI as well?
The recent designation of Nigeria as a country.
Oh no, they didn't. Okay. So they changed his, like, they use his own voice to do the translation in English with AI. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you so much, saying cat lady for president. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the super chat.
Country of particular concern based on speculations of religious persecution is fundamentally misinformed.
Wait, is this music? Is there no commentary anymore?
And to report back to me. And I'm
Trump said that by the United States as a quote country.
Yeah, we got that part.
Nigeria's government rejected its designation by the United States as a quote country of particular concern over alleged religious freedom violations, saying the move was based on misinformation and faulty data.
I showed you the data. I cited the study. Where are you getting this
Donald Trump last week put Nigeria back on a list of countries that the U.S. says have violated religious freedom. Trump said he had asked the Defense Department to prepare for possible fast military action if Nigeria does not crack down on the killing of Christians. On November 5th, Trump said that the United States would stop all aid to Nigeria and possibly, quote, go into that now disgraced country guns a-blazing if the African country did not stop the killing of Christians.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. When the Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. What horrible numbers. Something has to be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately...
Guys, we need to be a lot more aggressive than this. Like, Islamism is a fucking cancer that is taking over the world. Like, we need to be doing this times 1,000 everywhere. We need to be going out and finding Islamists in whatever hole they're hiding anywhere on the planet. The whole world should be united on this. The whole world should be united on this. This is not even merely enough. We should be going and finding all of these people and blowing the shit out of them.
Look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean...
Yeah, no offense to cancer, exactly.
Like immediately. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. It's not only Nigeria, it's all over. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going...
Some people in the chat are saying I'm Nigerian. Hey, welcome Nigerians. Please say thank you to Trump for helping out your country by killing your Islamists. If you're Nigerian, say thank you. Thank you, Trump.
Able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to happen. If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about, and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. These are cherished people. These are great people. Leave them alone. Warning. The Nigerian government better move fast before it's too late. If they don't, there's going to be hell to pay. This week, we're celebrating the one-year anniversary of the most important election victory in the history of our country.
Okay. Hold on. Do we do more Nigeria?
We won all 7 swing states by millions and millions of votes. We won the Electoral College 312 to 226. We won the popular vote for the first time of any would have poured across our border, indoctrinated with trends greater than ever before.
Washington's decision to designate Nigeria as a violator of religious freedoms has strained diplomatic ties between the two countries.
Well, you see, it had no effect. They're like, we're not religiously intolerant. And then eventually when Trump said, I'm going to bomb your country, like, oh, okay, please do. You can see when they're crying, and it just means nothing. Like, what are you going to do? Okay, you are religiously intolerant. So fuck you, and let Trump come and do some cleanup for you guys, because you can't seem to do it yourself.
Nigeria's record, Information Minister Mohammed Idris told a press briefing that Trump's threats of military action were unwarranted and misrepresented Nigeria's complex.
By the way, if you're American and saying like, oh, why are we're spending American taxpayer money, it's over there when we have problems here at home. If you say that, you are retarded, okay? Because these problems are not going to stay in Africa if you don't deal with it. It's not going to stay in Africa. This is a cancerous, this is a tumor. It's going to spread. If it gets to your home, it's going to be too late. You have to deal it before it grows. This is a chemotherapy, okay? That's what is happening here. If you don't understand that, then you don't understand how any of this works. You don't know what America First means. Your taxpayer money being spent on, destroying Islamists is your money being spent, very well. It's good investment.
Security challenges.
The government of the president is fully and thoroughly appraised and fully aware of the significant level of anxiety and concern that has been created by the designation of our country as the country of particular concern for the cycle CPC by the United States government, as well as the threats of military action by the President of the United States, following a wrong assumption and misrepresentation of disability. The fair part of Nigeria have taken
Nigeria is a very Christian-friendly country, guys. Nothing to see here.
Note of the position of the government of the Duchess of America on Nigeria over the alleged violations.
Recent external claims suggesting systemic religious persecution in Nigeria are unfounded. The recent designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern based on speculations of religious persecution is fundamentally misinformed. It misrepresents Nigeria's
Somebody, Chuck is saying we are all sick and tired of Islam. Isn't that right, guys? Aren't we all fucking tired of fucking Islam? Like, doesn't it make you sick? Doesn't it make you sick? Like, everywhere you fucking go, you see that there is a mess and chaos, instability. It's either a fucking commies or the woke people, or it's Islam. It's always one of these two motherfuckers. It's one of these two. Like, I don't know. It's just so tiring to have to deal. Like, how much nicer the world would be if we didn't have to deal with these two diseases? It's either the woke or the communist left, or it's this fucking Islam. It's one of these two most of the time.
Constitutional order and its records in protecting religious freedom, Nigeria's demographic balance, approximately equal Christian and Muslim populations.
Yes, Flank Robot Duck is saying, sadly, we also have the far right. The far right themselves are, they're fucking retarded. Like, if by far right you mean the Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, the Tucker Carlson side, they're fucking retarded. But they are not as much of a threat. The main way that they are a threat is that they help the left grow, but they are not that directly of a threat. They don't have the numbers, because they don't have babies, they don't have the numbers. Okay, the Islamists, they have the babies, and the left opens the doors to the Islamists. So yeah, their ideas are dangerous, but they're demographically going extinct. So we need to be more worried about the Islamists and the left.
Interwoven communities and its functioning multi-religious democracy.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country.
We heard, like, you put this like 10 times in the same video. Let's look at this. Hold on. Do you guys want to hear TYT's take on this? Let me actually do this DW, and then I'll look at the chat and see if you guys want me to do TYT.
Donald Trump says the U.S. has launched several strikes against Islamic State forces in Nigeria. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said he had ordered deadly attacks in northwest Nigeria's Sokoto state against ISIS terrorists, who he accuses of persecuting Christians. The U.S. government published pictures of a missile being launched from a military vessel, supposedly showing one of the strikes. Trump had been threatening military action in Nigeria over what he calls the slaughtering of innocent Christians.
Wait, we got a super chat. Look at this. We got a nice super chat. BT June is saying, in honor of all the idiots in the chat, okay, thank you, Professor. Oh my God, Professor Armin. Wow, for doing your part to educate them. Well, thank you, BT June, for supporting this channel. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Nigeria's government says armed groups target both Christians and Muslims in the country.
That doesn't negate his point. Why do you keep saying that? Why do you keep saying that? If it's like me saying, like, guys, my uncle just got cancer. It's very sad news. And you're like, hey, do you know people also die from heart attacks? Okay, all right, okay. Right. Yeah, like, what is it? Like, what is this whataboutism? Like, oh, Muslims also die. Well, I showed you the numbers. Christians are targeted more. But even if they weren't, given that they're being targeted for the religion and other people are just dying for because Islam is there, then it makes sense to want to go there and protect the Christians, because they're the ones who are being targeted for the Muslims are not probably being targeted for the religion, but the Christians are. So there's a difference.
Let's get more from Nigeria, and we turn to our correspondent, Wesu Idris, who is in Abuja. Wesu, good to see you this morning. What do you make of these?
This is kind of like when you say like, oh my God, looking in the, in America, black violence is so bad. And they're like, oh, but we also have these other numbers that shows like we have so many crimes committed by white people. That's kind of what this sounds like. It's kind of like trying to distract you from the main point that is being made here.
Developments. Have the Nigerian authorities actually confirmed these strikes that Trump described?
Guys, let me know. Did you guys want me to do TYT? Do you guys want to see TYT's perspective on this? Junk? Is that his? I never pronounced his name. Do you guys want to see his perspective after this one?
Yes, the Nigerian government has confirmed that the strike happened in coordination with the U.S. It says that it's part of its own cooperation with the U.S. in trying to tackle the insecurity in Nigeria. AFRICOM, which is the African Command, said the attacks happens with its coordination, and they have eliminated some ISIS groups there that are operating. And there is also the lesser known Lakurawa group that has been operating in that part of Nigeria. Sokoto borders Niger Republic with Nigeria in that axis. So that is what happened.
Right. Trump had threatened such strikes against IS, Islamic State cells, over the last couple of months. He talked about the existential threat for Christians in Nigeria. Is this violence that's...
Guys, if you're Nigerian in the chat, please write down the thank you, Trump, to show that you're Nigerian, okay? If you're Nigerian in the chat, make sure you write down thank you, Trump. Thank you for helping us out with this fucking Islamist.
Been shaking Nigeria for years, actually linked to religious tensions.
Well, not directly linked to religious tension, but it sparked religious controversy and tension of recent, because we've seen how some Christian leaders went to the U.S., lodged a complaint, and seek for the U.S. assistance, which was the initial problem when the U.S. focused more on Nigeria. The Christians are saying a lot of them are being eliminated, that there is a genocide going on. Well, on the other part, the Muslims are saying no. The number of casualties are more with the Muslims, because if you look at the Northwest, which comprises Sokoto, Zamfara, Kebbi, and partly Kano, you see that it's densely populated by Muslims. But there are also killings in Benue and Plateau, which is densely populated by Christians, and this thing is still ongoing, is still being reported, but the government kept saying that they are doing their own.
Okay, wrong. Mr. Nigerian man, let me educate you about Nigeria. I know more about you than your own country. Like you're more interested in defending Islam than Nigeria. I'm not Nigerian, and I care more about Nigeria than you, apparently, because I'm willing to tell the truth. So let me actually educate some Nigerians about Nigeria. Okay? So statistical data confirms a disproportionate targeting of Christians. A 4-year study, 2019 to 2023, by the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, or ORFA, recorded 16,769 Christians deaths versus 6,235 Muslims deaths. Recent 2025 reports indicate this trend has escalated. That's crazy, actually. All right. So yeah, you are wrong. Why are you so wrong? How could these people be so wrong and yet so confident at the same time? So the kill ratio for every one Muslim killed in faith-based violence, roughly 2.7 Christians. Oh, what the fuck? This is crazy. Are these numbers? Yeah, okay. These are correct. Shit, man. These are true as of December. Yeah, okay. Holy shit. I mean, not only they are wrong, they couldn't even be farther from the truth. So let me see. For every one Muslim killed in faith-based violence. So you can that's what they do. They just add in people who dying from just the violence, and they don't just zoom in on the faith-based violence. That's how they get you, guys. That's how they get you. They just, and you have, if you look at the faith-based violence, you can see that the Christians are being targeted. So they change the numbers by just pouring in all of the violence, all of the death from violence on top of that, to hide the fact that the Christians are being targeted. That's what they're doing, you motherfuckers. How are you so anti-Nigeria by trying to hide the truth? These are traitors. These are traitors to Nigeria. This is Islam first, Nigeria second. This is what Islam first, Nigeria second looks like. These people are traitors by misrepresenting the information. So we got super chats. One saying, Cat Lady, thank you for the super chat. The other one saying, Armin's positions always aligns with Israel's agenda. Well, thank you. Okay. Oh yeah, are you trying to get me? Because that sounds like well, really? Because thank you. That's a compliment. Okay. All right, hold on. We're gonna send a super chat saying, what does any of this have to do with Cat Lady? I don't know why you keep saying that. Okay. Thank you for the super chat though. All right. I don't know. Is there a joke in the chat that I'm uninformed of? Like, I don't know what this is even referring to.
Best to see how they.
Yeah. Yeah, Cat Lady in the chat saying, me? What did I do? I don't know. Somebody is obsessed with you, Cat Lady. Keeps mentioning you in the super chats. I don't know what's happening.
But the government kept saying that they are doing their own best to see how they tackle the situation.
So this is a case of groups that are targeting, as you're saying, groups that are targeting both Christians and Muslims. But I mean, it's early morning there in Nigeria. How have locals been reacting to this news as they wake up to hear that the U.S. has carried out strikes in Nigeria?
Reactions are ongoing since early morning, even as early as 1 a.m., 2 a.m. after the strike. If you check the social media, it's awash with this. And if you
guys, you know how they accuse Jews of dual allegiances? This man is what not dual, actually. His allegiance is to Islam, against Nigeria. Okay, this is what you should be concerned about. Stop. Jews are actually the most friendly to the country that they are in, the most supportive of the countries that they're citizens of. Okay, this Nigerian man who's born and raised in Nigeria, who's lying to you about the nature of the violence in Nigeria to protect Islam. This is what you have to. This is why Islam is a concern, not Jews. American Jews are loyal to America. Canadian Jews are loyal to Canada. British Jews are loyal to, Britannia. So to Britain. So to Germany or to France. They like Israel as well, very much, but they're also loyal to the country that they're citizens of. But when you are a Muslim, then the chances of you prioritizing Islam over the country that you're in is significantly, not only prioritizing it, seeing it as the most important, to the point that the other one is not important at all, to the point that you will sacrifice the nation state that you're a citizen of for the sake of Islam. This is why Islam is the concern. Only Islam can do this to a citizen, because this person, at least Jews, it makes sense for Jews to be supportive of this other nation state that is a homeland for protecting Jews worldwide. That makes sense. This guy doesn't have any other country. Nigeria is his country, and he's still betraying it for the protection of the Ummah, for the Islamic Ummah.
Tune into most of the radio.
Yeah, exactly. People are saying loyal to the Ummah instead of to your own nation state.
You check the social media, is awash with this, and if you tune into most of the radio stations, and even after early morning prayers, Muslims are talking about the strike with mixed reaction. A lot of people see it. Let them eliminate these groups who have been terrorizing them, since the government is becoming either incapable or unable to handle the situation for long, because it is still
Incapable or unable? Isn't that the same thing?
Ongoing, even after releasing those who are abducted, even after the government designated any bandit that attack anywhere as a terrorist. But it's ongoing. So, but there are people who are really concerned, because knowing that an attack by US is not a joke to any country. They're looking at the implications that might come in the coming days. It is going to affect businesses. It is going to affect almost everything in the country. So it's a mixed reaction, but hoping that let it be a solution to the problems they are facing, both communities, both religious followers, and the entire country.
Okay. DW correspondent.
He just basically said a bunch of nothing, other than the part that he misrepresented the stats. He said nothing at all. Guys, let's just hear a little bit of TYT. I know this is, sorry, guys. I know a lot of you said no. I just want to see what angle they're gonna go by. I know this is going to be infuriating, but let's just listen a little bit.
No more disruptions. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions, and we will have prosperity and peace for all. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
We are learning new details about the deadly strike operation.
Okay, I know what's happening. TYT is like saying, look, Trump was for peace and now he's bombing a country. You fucking idiots. Peace doesn't come from you not using your army and not using your strength. Peace doesn't mean being a pacifist. Do you not know the difference? Peace, look at the history of long-lasting peace in the world. It always came after a major war destroying the enemies of peace. Every fucking time in history we had a long-lasting peace, it came about from a war that destroyed the people who were waging wars. That's how it happened. Like, you think this is a gotcha? Or like, oh, he wanted peace, but now he's attacking Nigeria. That's how you get peace. That's how you get peace.
I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. No more wars, no more disruptions. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions, and we will have prosperity and peace for all. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
We are learning new details about the deadly strike operation that President Trump says he ordered on Islamic State terrorists in Nigeria. Listen to this.
Yeah, we'll get into all of the claims that they've made. But Donald Trump, the peace president, has once again delivered peace, or at least pieces of people and buildings blown apart by our weapons.
Guys, funny joke. He didn't bring peace, but pieces of what? Islamists, of terrorists? Like, are you crying for ISIS? Like, oh my God, poor ISIS members. Guys, funny joke. Laugh. What the fuck?
And yet another country around the world, because the peace president seemingly can't go more than 2 or 3 weeks without starting another foreign conflict. In this particular case, as you saw, it is in Nigeria over what he is calling a genocide against Christians in that country, which we're going to.
A genocide? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're not, he puts the genocide in quotation marks. Did you guys see that? I mean, and when Christians being targeted and when Islam's goal is to wipe out Christianity, that is the very definition of genocide. Like, how is that not a genocide? It is a genocide. Why are you putting that in quotation? Unlike your fake claims of genocide in Gaza, we actually have intent. We actually have proof of intent here for wiping out an entire population. We actually have the proof. Why are you putting that in quotation? You motherfuckers, you hate America so much that you actually go on the side of ISIS. That's how much you hate America. That's how much you hate the West, apparently. You guys, these are leftists. I told you the sickness comes from these people. Oh my God.
Dive into the facts. Okay. Calling a genocide against Christians in that country, which we're going to dive into the facts, see if we can figure out what's really going on. But Cenk, let's start with your 2 cents.
Yeah, so wait till you see what's actually happening in.
Yeah, by the way, people say like the way to remember his name is junk yogurt. I think Musad said in the chat, junk yogurt.
Nigeria, this idea of Muslim versus Christian is kind of hilarious. There's some of that going on, but there's such a wide.
Guys, it's so hilarious. They're targeting Christians. They're targeting Christians. It's so so funny. Wow, it's so funny. Oh my God, we're getting another super chat saying Cat Lady. Cat Lady, you're a celebrity now. I don't know why we keep getting that super chat, but thank you. Guys, they're killing Christians, huh? It's so funny. Fucking idiot.
Right, I can't wait to tell you about it now that I know all about Nigerian politics and tribalism and bandits and the different kinds of attacks that are happening there. So that's part of this story. I think that unfortunately, Israel is another part of this story, even though it's Nigeria. It's always Israel.
What? Huh? How are you dragging Israel into this? How are you going to drag Israel into this? Guys, this is going to be interesting. I was like, guys, they're actually covering the news that is not about Israel, because we say no Jews, no news. Wow, they're actually covering Nigeria. Apparently, they have to get the Jews involved. No, there's Jews involved. Okay,
and I'll explain how. And of course, the hypocrisy of Trump on anti-war is enormous. We have a poll about it in a minute for you. And John's 3rd or 4th cent here is that
guys, there's a lot of Israelis in the chat. Can you explain to me how are you involved? Because I think all of the Israelis in the chat are like saying, what, how? Can you guys tell me how are you guys involved in this one?
He knows why this happened, and I'm very curious about that as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you have read up a lot and become an expert on this topic.
So guys, I just did a fact check on whether or not this is genocide. Because he did genocide in quotation, right? So expert clarification by Genocide Watch. Genocide Watch, the leading global monitor, apparently, according to this, formally classifies the situation in Nigeria as a genocide emergency and a severe genocidal crisis, especially citing the targeting of Christians by jihadi groups. So why are these two fuckers putting genocide in quotations? And then we have, as of December 2025, the U.S. executive branch under President Trump has explicitly used the term genocide. Okay, well that's their opinion, but Genocide Watch was a good one. So while acts meet the Article 2 criteria for the 1948 Genocide Convention, killing members of a group with intent to destroy, the International Criminal Court, ICC, has not yet issued a formal ruling despite urgent appeals from Nigerian coalitions in November 2025. So apparently it meets all the criteria of Article 2 for it to be classified as a genocide. So let's see what these two fuckers have to say about that, given that I did the fact check. By the way, guys, do you like this? I'm doing better fact check live on air than CNN or BBC does ahead of time. Like I just do it right on air.
I've read a little bit, but I'm not
that deserves a subscribe if you're new here, by the way.
An expert. I thought that it would be elitist of me to know more about this country we're going to war with than the president does. So I know next to nothing. So I feel like I'm on Trump's level with this. But anyway, he posted this. This is Christmas Day. He launched this conflict. That's great. Tonight, at my direction as commander-in-chief, we launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum. Saying that they're viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even capital C centuries. Blah, blah, blah. I previously warned the terrorists, the Department of War, as he calls it, that's its preferred pronouns, executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. They're not going to let radical Islamic terrorism.
I mean, changing your voice doesn't make him not true. These are true facts. That's true about the United States.
Prosper. May God bless our military and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists. I think he gets the holiday spirit. I do think that he gets that. So look, we're gonna dive into the facts about the supposed genocide. Also bear in mind, we're gonna have to talk about the facts about this being ISIS terrorists, because that's not necessarily as cut and dried as he would have you believe either.
Well, that would be if that's the case, that's a point for us. So you're saying other non-ISIS Muslims are doing these? Doesn't that make the Islam the bigger problem here than just being ISIS? You understand that's a point for us if that's the case, right?
A lot of this feels pretty dishonest, but let's see if we can rewind a little bit, figure out how we got to the point that the United States is launching what, were it to happen to us, we would label it obviously as a war. For some reason, when the United States bombs a country, it's just like a...
Wait, we got a super chat. Let me quickly read this. In PRC, all clergy are forced to recite signed pledges of loyalty to the nation state, attend political classes, or face deregistration. If we fear dual loyalty, what are some options we can live with? Well, that's not the topic of this live stream. So if Asian American, if you want to talk about that, you could come to our discussion group, which the link is in the description. After the show, we're going to go to the discussion group and you could come and talk about it over there, okay? But yeah, let's focus on
cool
this.
thing you do on...
But thank you for the super chat.
Christmas Day. It's not warmongering or anything. But anyway, it seems like a Fox News segment about a month and a half, 2 months ago was what kind of kicked this thing off. And in this segment, we're going to show you a bit. John Roberts had on Ryan Brown, the CEO of Open Doors US, an organization supporting persecuted Christians. And take a look at this.
Open Doors keeps track of Christians who are killed around the world in religious violence. Here's your statistics for 2025. 4,476 Christians murdered so far worldwide. 3,100 of them in Nigeria. I mean, Nigeria is a country that the United States has a fairly close relationship with. Does this president need to step up and do more, or does the United States at large need to do more? I mean, what could the U.S. do to try to stem the killings?
I love the distinction he makes between the president doing more and the United States doing more. Like Donald Trump's going to fly over there and deal with it single-handedly or something. But anyway, they're all.
What the fuck kind of a point is that? What the fuck kind of a point is that? Like, no.
I love the distinction he makes between the president doing more and the United States doing more. Like Donald Trump's going to fly over there and deal with it.
No, but anything that the U.S. Army does is going to be by the order of Trump. Like, what the fuck kind of a point is that? Like, you guys hate Trump so much, you're not even trying to make sense.
It's single-handedly or something. But anyway, they're obviously they're hoping to get the United States military.
Like, yeah, it means that it's going to be under the order of Trump. It's going to be by his command. That's what it means, you fucking retard.
Involved. More conflicts. Good for Fox News. Good for the defense industry.
Who watches this garbage? Like, do people actually watch this? I'm like, oh yeah, they made such a good point.
All of that. And almost immediately after that segment aired, which Donald Trump was obviously watching because he's never not watching TV, he posted this onto Truth Social, saying that if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, apparently the Christians are the only ones that need to be protected. The other people dying there, it doesn't matter. The USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. And
the other people don't matter. The other people don't matter. So here's the thing: the other people do matter. The other people do matter. But if you in a country which is majority Christian, if you need to get political capital to go kill the Islamists who are killing Christians and non-Christians, if by pointing out that the Christians are the ones who are being targeted the most, you're going to get enough political capital to be able to do this, then go ahead and focus on the Christians. I mean, America is a Christian majority country. They are the ones who decide whether or not they are the ones who opinion polls shows how much political power Donald Trump has. So yeah, focus on the Christians. That's how you get the that's how you could get the most amount of support from your coalition, from the people who are backing from the MAGA movement. What are you gonna do? Like, imagine if Trump had said, like, oh, these Islamists, they're killing Muslims and Christians. We're gonna go defend the Muslims and Christians. Do you really think? I mean, killing Islamist jihadists is good for the world. It's good for America, and it's good for the rest of the world. What do you think will sell more if I come to as a president and tell, like, yeah, we're gonna go save the Muslims in Nigeria? Obviously, that's not gonna get that much buy-in. Just say that we're gonna go and protect the Christians, and by doing that, you're gonna protect some Muslim civilians as well. There is also do you care about the messaging or do you care about the result? If you kill the Islamists, the Muslim civilians who are being killed by these Islamists get protection as well. So if you care about those people, then let Trump use whatever narrative he needs to be able to go get this done. Let me see. But Christians are being targeted more than other people. Oh my God, we're getting another super chat mentioning Cat Lady. I don't know what the joke in the chat is. But Cat Lady, you're very special today. Everybody is supporting you. Cat Lady, you must be special. Okay, actually, the super chat is saying exactly that. All right, so I don't know what's happening.
This is going to be a literal verbatim quote in case you're listening, and may very well go into that now disgraced country guns a-blazing, the president of the United States says, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. He's saying basically there's cherished Christians warning the Nigerian government better move fast. So he waited about 6 weeks. I guess that's something. And they did these strikes, killing at least 5 people, leaving over 30 seriously wounded. And I think at this point, Jake, we should probably get into the conversation around this, because the reason that he seems to be interested in this is the reason that Fox News was interested in it, is that they can.
Oh, somebody in the chat saying African don't need American help. Okay, buddy. Okay, sure. You're doing so well right now. Okay, yeah, sure.
And spin a very selective interpretation of the conflict to make it seem as if this is people hunting down Christians. And of course, the right is always looking for opportunities to feel that they are an aggrieved minority. That's why they are saying this about Nigeria. It's why they have pretended there's this genocide against white farmers in South Africa. On the Damage Report this morning, I pointed out that I also think it's convenient to them to have these narratives at a time when they've probably begun to feel, after a couple of years of what's going on with Gaza, kind of feel like maybe they're on the wrong side of this whole thing. These people.
Oh my God, they're actually using these. I see what they're doing. They're using the Nigerian government's stance as if this is the truth. So guys, we actually have a study. We have a study, and then we have the Nigerian government's own stance. So the study, hold on, yeah. So the study by Orpha, a 4-year study by the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, shows that Christians are being targeted way more by a ratio of 2.7 Christians for every Muslim. So they're being killed 3 times more than Muslims. That's what the study shows. But instead of going with the study, they're going with the government stance, the government propaganda. They're using the government propaganda as their source of information, which obviously Nigerian government is not at all biased in favor of saying that there's nothing to see here when it comes to religious intolerance. Obviously not. So let's forget academic studies and let's see what the government propaganda says. Apparently, that's the best source of information, because the Nigerian government labels this as a farmer-herder clashes rather than Muslim versus Christian clashes. And they're saying that it's indiscriminate, affecting everybody. However, data shows otherwise, that the Christian deaths are a lot more. So they're lying, because the data shows that 55% of the Christian deaths are attributed to Fulani militias, contradicting the indiscriminate narrative. You fucking piece of shit. You are actually trying to dismiss the targeting of Christians because you hate Trump. This is, now I actually believe in the Trump derangement syndrome, because this is a disease. And I say this as somebody that doesn't support Trump 100%. I like certain things he does, and I dislike some other things he does. But this is a fucking sickness. Like, how fucked up do you have to be to dismiss the targeting of Christians because you hate Trump?
People sticking up for Palestinian kids who are being killed certainly look like the good guys in this story. Wouldn't it be good if they had a conflict they could pretend puts them on the right side of calling out genocide? So what do you know? What is a fairly complicated civil conflict in Nigeria gets reinterpreted as—
Guys, it's complicated. It's not like, oh my, fuck you. Guys, I read the study for you guys. They are targeting Christians. You motherfuckers, you're hiding it. Guys, don't look into this. Don't even look. It's you're not going to be able to understand it. There's so messy. It's a lot of data. Like, don't even bother looking. It's complicated.
As a genocide against Christians, which is more palatable for their domestic audience. But what do you think?
Yeah, so we're gonna play a series of macabre, fun games here about this, okay?
Oh, apparently it's Cat Lady's birthday in 16 days. So people saying happy birthday in 16 days. So I guess that's why people are saying this. Okay, well, thank you for the super chat.
Because all this is disastrous, but we're gonna nevertheless do a poll about it, and I'm gonna poll John, and he doesn't know the geography of Nigeria apparently as well as I do. So that'll be fun, and you could play along as well. The first poll is on TYT.com, and we're asking, when Trump said he was anti-war, what did he mean? A, I'm going to bomb Iran. B, I'm going to bomb Nigeria. C, I'm going to bomb Venezuela. D, I'm going to bomb every country I can think of and see if I can still get people to believe I'm anti-war.
Wow, very scientifically, a very scientific poll with very carefully collected options. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot of good information out of that poll.
Okay,
ding, ding.
Okay, that's a tough one. A lot of bombings for the
Wow, you guys are so funny. Ha 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 ha.
Anti-war president. So take your time with that one on TYT.com. All right. Now we move to the interesting little thing that—
yeah, please tell us. Please, I'm I don't want to deal with you guys for much longer. Tell me how Israel is involved. I really want to know how you managed to get Israel involved. Somebody saying you're sick people. Okay. I don't know who you're referring to, but thank you so much for the super chat, whatever you meant. But thank you.
John alluded to there, which was, well, they said on Fox News there 3,100 Christians killed in Nigeria. They didn't say who killed them. Oh, that's interesting. So we're going to come back to that in the midst of this quiz and give you a sense of what's happening in Nigeria. First of all, quick fun facts about Nigeria. Split nearly evenly between Christians and Muslims, about 53% Muslim, 45% Christians. Anytime there's a split like that, you're going to have trouble no matter what the religions are or the backgrounds or the ethnicities are. And there has been some trouble among those clans, but that is not the only thing dividing Nigeria. In fact,
oh, guys, it's not about the religion. It's about the clans. And like different people from different religions are doing the killing. This is a clan issue. If it's a clan issue, then why are the people doing most of the killing are on the Islamic side, and the people who are doing most of the dying are on the Christian side? What clan is Islam? What clan is Christianity? Is Islam a clan now? Let me actually look at this. Forensic data attributes the majority of the killing to two Islamist-aligned groups, the Fulani ethnic militias, FEM, and Boko Haram. Combined, they account for over 60% of all terror-related deaths. Like just these two Islamic groups, ignoring all the other Islamic groups which are out there, just the two Islamic guys. This is a tribal issue. Okay. And then let me see. Contradicting common media narratives, Fulani militias are the deadliest group, responsible for roughly 55% of all Christian deaths and 47% of all civilian deaths. This is an Islamic group. They kill 5 times more civilians than Boko Haram. Oh my God. And apparently the secondary killer is Boko Haram. Boko Haram is more famous globally, but these are and they're officially a designated terror group. But they only do 8 to 10% of that. That other Islamic group apparently does more of the killing. The government often labels the killers in the Northwest as secular bandits. However, intelligence reports in 2025 link many of these groups like Ansari and Laku Rawa to Al-Qaeda and ISIS networks. And they increasingly use jihadist rhetoric to justify attacks. Guys, this is so easy to check. Why are they misinforming people? Look at this video. This video by them got 162,000 views. They have 7 million. And this is really easy to fact check.
Nigeria is a gigantic country, largest in Africa, 230 million people, 300 different languages spoken. And that's going to play a big role in what we're going to describe here. All right, so John, there are several different areas of Nigeria. There's the northeast where there's Boko Haram, a very dangerous Muslim fundamentalist terrorist group, okay? So they're a big problem.
What, Muslim? Okay.
Problem in north.
But Boko Haram apparently is not the main killer. If the other Islamic group is the main killer.
Eastern Nigeria, often attacking the Nigerian government. The Nigerian government has Muslims and Christians in it, but it's, again, a majority Muslim country. Nevertheless, Boko Haram is attacking within that.
So, guys, apparently, the Fulani ethnic militias, they're responsible for 55% of the killings. The gangs and bandits, they're responsible for 30% of the killing. Boko Haram is responsible for 10% of the killings. And then separatists are responsible for 5% of the killings. So if you add the main Islamic groups, they are responsible for 65% of the killings. And the primary targets of the Fulani group, which is an Islamic group, is the Christians. And the number one target of Boko Haram is the government, Christians, and moderate Muslims. So the group that does most of the Islamic group that does most of the killings, their primary target is Christians. Wow, guys, I have more detailed information. I gave you more detailed information about all of this than CNN, Fox News, what was that? The Economist, the DW, and all of them. And I'm learning it as we go. By the way, I want to get to Israel. I have to go to our discussion group, and we haven't seen how Israel gets involved.
That country, as Muslim fundamentalists tend to do, right? When they go in the jihad violent direction. Okay, so then we've got in the southeast a massive separatist war that occurred that killed nearly 1 million people, and so a lot of Christians died there. Now, it's Christian separatists that have done that war, so take that for what it might be. Now we go to the Northwest. In the Northwest, there's bandits. And so the bandits are of different varieties, tribes, clans, etc. And they do a lot.
All right, guys, I'm gonna do this double speed because I already gave you this information. I want to get to the part where he talks about Israel being involved. Hold on.
A different kind of crime. It originally started as a vigilante group, but then developed into basically a mob mentality, which is usually what happens once you go towards violence. So they started doing different crimes, including kidnappings. And there they have kidnapped 52 Christians out of a Catholic school recently. Aha! So that's your anti-Muslim. Now, it turns out they also kidnapped 25 Muslims.
No, you motherfucker. I give you the total numbers. These examples are anecdotes. I give you the statistics.
Students from a Muslim school because they're banditos. They're bandits. Okay. So then you go to central Nigeria. And in central Nigeria, we have a war between the farmers and the herders. I mean, you want to talk about old school herders versus farmers, like the oldest battle there is. It happened in Central Asia, it happened in Scotland. And so they're doing that battle and they're hacking away at
They're giving the Nigerian government's propaganda to their audience.
each other. Now, the problem is that the farmers are largely Christian, the herders are largely Muslim. So that gets into some tribal and religious issues. But what people notice is actually the people grabbing the land the most are just wealthy folks from Nigeria who are using the farming and
the wealthy people, these motherfucker anti-capitalists,
herding and the Christianity and the Muslim and all that stuff is an excuse to do more land acquisition. Okay,
That's
so
America.
now, John, out of all those different problematic places in Nigeria,
did he just say that's America?
is actually the people grabbing the land the most are just wealthy folks from Nigeria who are using the farming and the herding and the Christianity and the Muslim and all that stuff as an excuse to do more land acquisition. Okay,
That's
so
America.
now, John, out of all
Did he just say that's America? Okay, fuck you.
those different problematic places in Nigeria, where do you think we bomb? The Northeast, the Northwest, the Southeast, or Central Nigeria? Now, a lot of Christians dying in a lot of those areas. So, and a lot of Muslims dying in a lot of those areas. So, where do you think we bomb?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I was not expecting to be quizzed, and now I'm really second guessing myself. But I'm fairly certain, up until about 90 seconds ago, that it was the Northwest.
Yeah, you are correct. We bombed the bandits in Northwest. Nice job. So the bandits have no religious, affiliation necessarily. Like I said, they kidnap Christian and Muslim students for ransom. They're mainly just criminals. Boko Haram's in the Northeast. We didn't bomb them. The people that killed 1 million.
The bandits are responsible for 30% of the killing. The Fulani group is responsible for 55% of the killing, and they're the Islamists.
And people in the Southeast are mainly Christians, so we didn't bomb them. And the landowners that are stealing everything in the middle of Nigeria, we certainly didn't bomb them.
Obviously not.
Right.
Well, first of all, Jen, can we just point out, and if you're MAGA or whatever, feel free.
Get to Israel. I want to see how Israel is involved.
Just read the comments. Do you believe that Donald Trump could have extemporaneously given a cogent breakdown of the conflicts across Nigeria, like Jen just did? He wasn't reading that off the script. Do you think Donald Trump could have done that? And if he had done it, do you think he could have done it without referencing winning Pennsylvania 3 times in a row or something like that? Come on. Anyway,
so, look, forget saying it extemporaneously. Does Donald Trump know 10% of that?
Yeah.
No. And so apparently he saw a report on Fox News a little while back that said that they were killing Christians in Nigeria. He's like, so let's bomb it. So that's part of the answer. I think Israel's part of the answer. But John, you.
Oh, Israel. Okay, let's go to normal speed now. Israel. Please tell me how Israel is involved.
Said you had part of the answer.
Yeah.
Is it the distraction you mentioned earlier, or is it something else?
No, I mean, I'm only about 30% serious, but 6 weeks ago, he says, if you keep killing Christians or whatever, we're gonna do this. That's quite a while ago. What's closer? Nicki Minaj appearing at the Turning Point USA thing and talking once again about genocide against Christians in Nigeria. Now, she paid a price for it. She supposedly lost something like 10 million followers on Instagram and has in fact fled Instagram following that. But perhaps she got her ultimate goal, which is, because she called Donald Trump hot on stage, fluffed his ego a little bit, and her number one political issue, all of a sudden the American government snaps into action, starts doing strikes within like 6 days of her appearance on stage.
Tell me about Israel.
Yeah,
Just saying. I'm just saying.
So your theory dovetails with mine to some degree. So under the rubric of everything is Israel, so here
please, this better be good, you motherfuckers. You have to blame Israel for fucking everything. This better be good.
I think the number one group pushing this in America is Israel First. And why do I say that? Number one, my evidence, among other things, and it's just circumstantial, as you'll see here. I'm certainly not claiming I have definitive proof and et cetera, right? But number one, social media reaction. So before the bombings, there was a lot of talk of, for genocide. Why aren't we doing anything about the genocide in place X, Y, Z, right? They've been saying that for a long time. And recently, the momentum picked up for Nigeria. Oh, forget the genocide in Gaza. The real genocide is by banditos in northwestern Nigeria. No, it's the bandits, the Nigerians. They're the real terrorists. And so
they were pointing out Sudan most of the time.
And it's
the main thing, that the main genocide that we pointed out that people are ignoring was in Sudan and in Yemen.
Not saying there isn't terrorism in Nigeria. There is, right? And there could be. There was, I think, 8,000 people killed overall last year. I think more Muslims than Christians.
Genocide is not. You don't decide whether something is a genocide or not based on numbers.
In Nigeria, if I remember that right, but just don't quote me on that. You can look it up yourself.
You don't do it based on numbers. You do it based on intention.
We can show the data going back to 2020. If we bring up graphic 8, as you discussed, it does the breakdown of the last 5 years, basically.
Okay, great. Let's show that so you can see.
Wait, so what happened? How was Israel involved? I don't get it. Israel is involved because the people who are saying that the Gaza, what's happening in Gaza is not a genocide, were also pointing out that they're ignoring other genocides. Like, guys, we were promised some proof or something, some evidence for Israel being involved. Did you see it? Is it gone? Are we past that point, or are we still
real facts and the exact facts, right? And so you're seeing that there on the screen. Meanwhile, obviously in Gaza, there's 70,000 dead at a bare minimum. But the idea here is distract and the Israelis believe that things have gotten religious, partly because they pushed the religion angle here nonstop. No, if you blame Israel, you're blaming the Jews. You're blaming the Jews, right?
Shut the fuck up. Where's your evidence for Israel being involved in Nigeria? Was pointing out Nigeria by Jews makes Jews involved in Nigeria? Guys, Israelis in the chat, you are responsible for what's happening in Nigeria because, and I kid you not, you mentioned it. You mentioned Nigeria, genocide in Nigeria. You talked about it. What the fuck is happening? That's their evidence. Okay.
Make everything about religion. It's the dirty Muslims. The real problem is the Muslims. And I told you 3 months ago, there was a propaganda campaign started.
The Muslims, it is the problem. Look, every data shows that it is the Muslims. What do you want to do? You want to disagree with the facts?
And all of Israel first did it at the same time. The real issue isn't Israel. The real issue is Muslim terror.
Somebody saying, how is that 7,000 from Netanyahu treating you? Very well, actually. I already got 5 of those. Working on my next one right now. Probably saving up for a nice trip. Thank you for asking.
Terrorists, and Israel's at the forefront of protecting you against the dirty, savage Muslims. And the bigotry towards Muslims went into hyperdrive with no brakes in the car at all.
Guys, apparently data and facts are bigoted against Muslims.
And now this is another wave of, no, the real terrorists are the Muslims in Nigeria.
Most of the terrorists are Muslims. That's the case. What do you want to do?
And if you care about religion, you should care about protecting.
I'm done with this fucking, retarded bullshit. Like, I'm just going, because I need to go. We have a discussion in about 5 minutes. So let me actually, before I read the remaining super chats, let me put the link to our discussion group in the chat. Guys, come talk to us there. We have a politics discussion group, and we're gonna have an open group call in about 5 minutes. So link is in the chat. Link is also in the description. So check that out. Let me just read the super chats. Amir saying his work is misinforming people. Yes, exactly. Ron is saying Allah is my dog. Let's see. You read this. No, Allah is your dog. I don't have a problem reading that. Allah is my dog. Okay. Why do you think? Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ron, for the super chat. Oh, okay. So you're saying, I thought this is a challenge. Okay, I see. You actually want me to. Okay. Ron is saying, Jewish Samantha, flowers for you. Oh, wow. So now, Jewish Samantha, are you here? You got some flowers. And then Ron also gave us another super chat saying, Lottie Block, you think I forgot a hug and flowers. Okay, wow. We're getting super chat by Ron, just being kind to all of you guys. This is amazing. This is so wholesome. We have the most wholesome super chats in our lives. We get super chats, just somebody being kind to other people in the chat. This is so wholesome. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right, guys. Again, one more time. This is the link to our discussion group. Once you come into the group, you can see the link to their live group call at the top of the community. So just come and join our discussions. Our discussions gets recorded and then put on this YouTube channel for other people to see. So if you want a platform to share your opinions, our discussion group is a good way to do it. All right. So I'll see you guys there. And yeah. I'm Israel Chai, Javid Shah. Oh, wait, Beta got freed. Okay, I'll show this. I'll show the Beta free here. I'll show the Beta being freed in the next live stream. Okay, I'll show her the video of her being freed in the next live stream. All right, guys. I'm Israel Chai, Javid Shah. See you in the next stream. Mwah.